So your systems just went down. And in that moment, there is really only one question that matters. How much are you going to lose? And how long is it going to take to get back up and running? Let us put some real numbers on that, because most businesses have never actually worked theirs out. When people think about backup, they usually think about it as just copying data somewhere safe. But that is not really what it is about. It is about how quickly and how completely you can get back to normal once something goes wrong. And there are two simple ideas that decide that for you, so every business should really know its own numbers here. The first one is how much data you can actually afford to lose. So if your backup only runs once a night and your systems go down at 4 in the afternoon, you have just lost an entire day of work. But if that backup is running every hour instead, then you are only ever looking at losing an hour at most. Now, the right answer here is going to be different for every business, but the point is, you want to be choosing that number on purpose, rather than finding out the hard way when it is already too late. The second idea is how long you can afford to actually be down for. Restoring a handful of files might only take a few minutes, but rebuilding an entire server from scratch, if you have not planned for it properly, that can take a full day or even longer. And for some businesses, a day offline is just a bit annoying, but for others, that single day is really the difference between surviving and not. Now, the good news is that modern recovery has come a long way from the old overnight tape backup that a lot of people still picture in their heads. These days, we can keep near continuous copies of your systems running. We can spin up a failed server in the cloud while the original one is being repaired. And we can have your people working again in a matter of minutes rather than days. So honestly, the technology to do this already exists. What most businesses are actually missing is the plan that ties it all together, and the testing that proves it will really work when you need it to. And that is where we come in. We sit down with you and work out what your acceptable data loss looks like and what your acceptable downtime looks like. Then we build the backup and recovery around those numbers, and we test it properly, so that when the bad day eventually comes, and it usually does, it just ends up feeling like any other Tuesday. So really, the goal is to know your numbers before you actually need them. We are IPT, and we would love to help you build your recovery plan. You can find us at ipt.za.com.